party song. Party's over here. Come on!
Hello and good evening. Welcome to some constant agitation. Oh, it has been a while. It has been a very, very long while. Already with the hydrate. Thank you, Parker, and good evening to you. Hopefully you're doing well. First film developing stream in the new house, so I'm excited. I am quite excited. But yes, good evening. Hopefully you've all been doing pretty well. It's been insanely busy. Doing good, could not pass up on constant agitation and watering. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been months since I've shot film. I mean, the last 5-6 months have just been freaking insane. House buying, moving into the house, all that fun stuff. So, yeah, new place, and had to figure out a way to set up the rig just so. So, we're going to be developing 2 rolls of film tonight. So, I hope you're looking forward to that. And then since it's been a while since I've shown you the process from beginning to end, so that's what we're going to do tonight. So while things were starting up there, while you were on the welcome screen there, starting soon, I was in the middle of preparing some chemicals. So, I will go through each of those chemicals in detail as the evening progresses. I've already got my fixer, my stop bath, and I'm just getting the developer ready before I show you how the film happens. We shall have constant agitation. Yes, Winged, welcome. Yes, I'm even wearing it. I'm whoring myself out. There's constant agitation merch. So, but yes, so I'm getting everything set up. One actually thing that I do need to get, and I'll be back in just a moment. I mean, I haven't done much photography, period, in 2023 at all because of the whole, big life change and whatnot, so. But yeah, I shot 2 rolls of film recently. Dead Things, naturally, so hopefully next week you'll get to see some Dead Things just in time, just to bring in October. Because what is October if it cannot be an entire month-long dead man's party, so to speak? Just getting my chemicals ready here. I want to make sure to start bringing these guys up to temperature while I'm explaining how the fun works. So, but yes, welcome on in, one and all. Glad to have you here. It's, as I said, it's been a while. Just getting my chemicals. Yeah, they're they're a little chilly, so I'm gonna have to bring them up to temperature. Let's see if I can do this a bit gradually, though. I forgot to grab my film warming device, so we'll have to do this the old-fashioned way. How's the house been treating me so far? So far so good. Yes, please. So far so good. It's an old house. It was built in the 1850s, and it actually is on the National Register of Historic Places, this house, because of it being architecturally significant. But as we have been finding out recently, well, while we've been living here, yeah, pardon me, you get a gratuitous ass shot here. We've been finding out that there's been a lot of cheap DIY that we have found from the previous owners that we've been trying to navigate through. So, yep, so my chemicals are right now at about 61.5 degrees. I need to bring them up to 68. So what I'm doing behind me is I'm just filling up a little plastic basin here with water, and I'm going to see if I can jumpstart the process. As the off-screen husband is coming on in. There you are. You're in stereo. Thank you. Thank you, Ethan. What? Yeah, I've got at least 4 people watching me. All right. Now, I can develop film at 61 degrees. The chemicals that I use, black and white chemistry is very forgiving, and I can basically develop within a range of 56 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's just put our chemistry in here and start to get that going. Need to bring y'all up to 68 or close to it. I don't want to have to do strange math to convert here, because I'll do it if I have to. Well, that was almost disastrous. Alright. So. Yeah, you're already starting to climb a bit. Good. Although I think I put too much water in that basin. That's better. Alright. So while that's warming up, let's start preparing here of what we're gonna do tonight. So tonight I am developing medium format film, which is a film that I've been using now for a couple of years. It's the same process as 35mm, and again, medium format. So this is what medium format film looks like. It's wider, and it's basically twice the width of 35mm. But the developing process is the same. It's the same for both. If you've seen me do this before, I've done 35mm and medium format right here on stream. And yeah, process is pretty similar. That's warming up pretty quick. Good. I won't have to wait too long. So, the first thing is, how do you get the film from the camera to this developing tank? Well, the first problem you immediately have is light. You can't pry open the film and load it into the tank in a light environment. You'll ruin the film. So, there are two ways to go about this. The first is have a light, tight, black room where you can just freely pry the film, get the film off the canister, put it in the developing tank, and away you go. But the more common method is by using one of these light, tight film changing bags. And I'm going to show you how that process works. So, a developing tank usually follows the same. This is going to be our first contestant tonight. A roll of Ilford Delta 100. So we have the developing tank, which, as you can see, right now, nothing in it. We've got our spool. This is what the film is going to be loaded onto. And right now, this is set for 35mm, but one of the great things about these particular spools is that they can expand, and now it is set for medium format. A little plasticky piece for this to go on. The funnel, which we pour our chemicals into, this is what makes it light tight. This goes on, it screws onto the top of the tank, and there you go. And then, of course, we have to have a lid, otherwise all these chemicals go pouring out. All right. You are warmed up nicely. You are warmed up very nicely. That took way quicker than I thought. So I'm going to show you what this looks like from the outside before I do it all in the bag. So, for the medium format film, it's usually wound up all tight, and it comes with this paper backing on it. Now, keep in mind, all this gets done in this bag. So this is entirely done by feel. I'm going to lower the volume on my music, because that's starting to annoy me. There we go. So, this is all done in darkness in the bag. So this is all done by feel. So, the first thing I would do is I would pry that label off, and then in the bag, I'd start unrolling this to free the film from its paper backing. Until it gets right here. You see, this is all the film. At the end of the reel here, there's a piece of Scotch tape that is holding the film to the plasticky bit here in the center. Peel that Scotch tape off. Once it's free and you've got just the film, you take this spool. Now again, you're doing this all by touch. There are a couple of guides on this this spool here for you to guide your film through. So it just goes through like this, push it through, and then I would just start winding it up. And I would keep going until all the film, sometimes it wants to fight, until all the film is loaded. And I would also just check by feel how much there was to go. Once I feel that the film has cleared the lip, it's good. Then I would take this, shove this right through the center there, put it in the developing tank, screw the lid on, put the final lid put the final lid on, and there we are. You now take it out of that black bag. It's ready to be developed. So now we're gonna do this for reals. Apparently this is still slightly wet from the last time I used this roll, which was just a couple days ago to develop some 35mm. So let's make sure that's nice and dry, because if it's wet, the film will actually catch. So, and then that creates some problems. There we are. All right. So, we're just going to load up the bag here. It's a double-layered bag with a zipper end on one side and then sleeves on the other. So we're just going to shove all of the components right in here. Once we do that, we're going to zip it up. Fold it up so that we got some, it velcros into place. And at the other end there are sleeves, which you just put your arms through, and there's a nice rubber seal that surrounds your arm to minimize light getting in that way as well. So let's go over to this camera. Okay, so I will narrate as I go through this process. I have the film, I have the spool that it's going to go on. Alright. Yeah, I figured, Parker, you were going to hit the hydrate, and I will first say, screw you, affectionately. And I will get to that hydrate right after this. You know, Parker, you're the reason why I put cooldown timers on these things. Just saying. All right. I'm just peeling the label off, which for a medium format roll sometimes is the hardest part. There we are. All right, I've taken the label off, and now I'm just folding back that paper backing till I get to the film beneath it. There it is. And now we're loading the film right onto the spool, and away we go. A roll of medium format film is less than a 35mm roll. Like on my camera, I can only get 16. It's fighting me. Sometimes that happens. There's the end of it. There's the Scotch tape. get that Scotch tape off. Beautiful. Now we'll just wind it up the rest of the way. Alright. It is completely on the spool now. Let's shove the plastic bit. There we are. Let's shove that whole apparatus into the tank. Put the lid on. Well, screw the lid on. Screw the funnel on. Put the lid on. Et voila. Here's the paper backing with that bit of Scotch tape. And there we are. Film's loaded. It's ready to be developed. Oh yes, I promised Parker a hydrate. Cheers. Loading the film into that developing tank is the hardest part of this whole process. Excuse me. Like, when I first started learning how to do that in high school, oh, it was... oh. Agony. Alright. My developer is actually just a hair, and I do mean just a hair too warm, 70 degrees, which will affect the development time. So I'm just gonna run this under cold water, just for a minute or so. Yeah, it's almost 71, which is little too warm. I mean, as I said, you can go to 76, but this is the temperature of the developer determines how long this takes. So we're just going to let this cool down just for a quick minute. And while that's going on, let me tell you a story. Oh, not really. Yeah, so there's the two rolls of film I'm developing tonight. The one we're going to start with, the one I just put in the tank, that is Ilford Delta 100 speed film. The second roll is going to be Ilford Delta 400 speed film. Two different types of film. Two different developing times. Just the first step, the actual developer chemical. There we are. We're starting to drop. My stop bath and my fixer are right at they're going to be about 68, 69 by the time this is all said and done. So, Ilford Delta 100 speed film. How long do I believe it's 11 minutes, but I just want to double check because I haven't developed 100 speed in a while. 400 is my usual film of choice. Delta 100 speed, it's 10 minutes. Okay. Nope. I was looking at the wrong chart. I'm looking at this one. Yes, that chart. 1-to-1. Yeah, 11 minutes. Okay. And this is this is what you have to do at home when you don't have access to the college photo darkroom anymore. Let's actually, I'm going to put you down for a moment and see if we can hasten this process just a bit more by throwing some ice cubes in the mix. All right. We're just about there. So, let's get ready to go so y'all can follow along. I wonder what my dev timer is. 14. All right, so we're going to let that run down to 11. And when it gets to 11, that's when we're going to start the process. So there are 5 chemicals that I use in this process. Developer, stop bath, and fixer. Those are the required 3. And then there's 2 others that I use afterward. Those are optional. Those just make the final rinse. That just reduces the amount of time the final rinse is. And what I try to do for optimal film developing is to try to have everything the same temperature within just a couple of degrees of each other. So we're going to be developing this film at around 68, 69 degrees. Nice. And so the stop bath and my fixer will also be that sort of same temperature. So that's ideal. We want to get it pretty even across the board. Because if you have wild fluctuations between one chemical and another, you could wind up getting grainy images. Because of the differences in temperature. But again, black and white chemistry, pretty forgiving. So you can usually go basically go about 5 degrees plus or minus. And you should be fine. Yeah. So we start with the developer, and yeah, once that gets down to 11 minutes, then that's when the fun begins. That's when the agitation starts. And once this starts, you are committed to seeing it through. You cannot stop. There is no pause button. Once you pour this developer in here, you're on your way. All right, let's get this guy go. All right. Three, two, one, start. All right. We're going to do constant agitation for the first 30 seconds. And then 10 seconds at the top of every minute. And I'll move that other camera so you can all get to see a better view here. What this is doing is it's coding all of the film in the developer, and it is reacting to the light-sensitive silver that is on the film. Thank you, Parker. Right on cue. All right, now 10 seconds. Now we just do a bit of a slam there, just to make sure any bubbles that are clinging, surface tension, we don't want that. Right. Cheers, Parker. So yes, that's what the developer is doing. It is reacting with the light-sensitive silver. This is the longest part. It's developer's longest part, the stop bath and the fixer, and then the other two chemicals, the washate and the ilfotol. Those are also pretty quick. So while this is going on, I should start preparing, I should start getting my rinse water up to temperature here. And the rinse water needs to be the same temperature as, or roughly the same temperature as everything else. So we're going to try for a 68-degree rinse water. Thank you, sink, for that delectable gurgle. All right. So this first roll that I'm developing, this was shot most recently, actually, about a week and a half, a week and a half ago. This was shot, I was visiting some friends down in Mayapack, and there was some old cemeteries down there, very small old cemeteries down there. So I took a poke around with my dear friend Mary. If you're watching, good evening, my dear. What's my temperature? 65. All right, we can go a little warmer. We can go a little warmer. Not much warmer. And the second role we're going to develop tonight, that was shot right down the street, literally half a mile down the road. Ethan and I wanted to do a little exploring, see what sort of old death we could find in this area. And yeah, we found one that dates back to the early 19th century, although there's a couple of very late 1700 headstones in there. In that cemetery, we also found the grave of the guy who built this house, Alexander Willis. What are we doing temperature-wise? Oh, okay. A little warmer. Up to 66. The next step that'll come after this, and then immediately comes after this, is the stop bath. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It stops the developing dead in its tracks, and I don't usually have a timer for that. It's just a minimum of 15 seconds. And stop bath looks like this. Stop bath looks like a very, very dehydrated person's urine. It's actually the only one of the 5 chemicals with color in it. That's why all of my measuring cups here, they're all labeled, because with the exception of the stop bath, they're all clear. They're all clear liquids. And most of them don't have a smell. The only one that actually really does have any sort of smell is the Fixer, and it has a very, very strong vinegar scent. Almost smells like your Easter egg solution when you're dyeing eggs. All right, we're still at 66. All right, let's move up a little more. Thing is, I'm doing incremental tweaks to this faucet here because, and we all have them. We all have that one faucet where you move it just 1 micrometer in either direction, and it's the difference between ice or lava. So we're trying to find that sweet spot. But yeah, that stop bath, again, it's just, we're gonna put, as the timer draws down to 0, we're just gonna dump out the developer and immediately put in the stop bath. And, yep, there we go. I was waiting for that. I went from 66 to 69. Which is not bad. Again, our starting temperature for the developer was about 69.5 degrees. So I'm fine with that. And right now my fixer temperature is 69.1. So yeah, I'm fine with that. That's fine. All right, final minute. Pardon me. So I'm just gonna dump the developer out right down the sink here, and then we're gonna immediately just pour in the stop bath. I'm just gonna take this and take the chemical lid off here. This is fine. This funnel here is keeping everything light tight, so I can take that lid off and we're gonna be fine. All right. It might make a noise. All right. All the developers out. Pour all that stop bath right in. And again, there's really no time on this step. It's just a minimum 15 seconds. So I usually just do like 15 of these inversions. Four. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right. Just make sure everything's good here. This fine. There you go. Quick cursory stop bath. And now we're going to move to fixer. So let's dump the stop bath out. And fixer is going to follow the same. Fixer's going to follow the same process as the developer. Constant agitation for the first 30 seconds, and then 10 seconds for every minute thereafter. Yeah, that's fixer, all right. Now, fixer has a range. It's 2 to 5 minutes. So depending on what mood you happen to be in that particular day. So I usually go for 4. Now, what fixer does is it removes any undeveloped silver from the film. And in doing so, makes it safe to come out into the light. That is why it has its name. It fixes, quotes, it fixes the exposure onto the negative. Now, normally, when film processing, film developing was the thing to do before digital ate it all up. Big industrial photo labs would save that fixer. The fixer of all of the photochemicals that we're using, only the fixer is reusable. Potato Night! Welcome! Oh, long time no see. Sir Spud, welcome. So, fixer, as I said, fixer is the only one of these chemicals that is reusable. Industrial labs would reclaim it. So, as I said, fixer removes any undeveloped silver that is still on the film, which means it's in solution, which means it can be withdrawn and recycled. Like actual silver metal. If you use enough fixer, you would dump all of it into what's called a silver reclaiming unit, and it would draw the silver out of solution, and you could sell it, or most cases you would send it back to Kodak, and they would use it. They'd reuse it. If I was developing photographic prints in the darkroom, the fixer that I would use for film would be used for printmaking, for making prints for gelatin silver in the darkroom. But unfortunately, I don't have that ability yet. That is, there's a basement down there now that I have. So eventually, that's something for down the road. Long time no see. Oh, let me go back up. Long time no see, Royvis. I've been on vacay, limited internet connectivity problems. Yeah. Old silver nitrate film production. Yes. Yes, indeed. Also known as the gelatin silver process. Now, as I said before, this is the third and last of the required chemicals. At this point, once the fixer's done doing its thing, I could call it done. I would then pour out the fixer and let this rinse for about 15 to 20 minutes. But the two chemicals that I'm going to be using afterward shortens that rinse time down to 5, and also ensures that all of the residual fixer is gone. Because if you still have residual fixer still left on the film, that film will eventually start to yellow and decay, and yeah. So, let's turn down our rinse water a bit. That's moved up to 70. Bring that down just a little bit. Just a hair. All right. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to do first rinse. So we're just going to pour this out. And I'm just going to stick the tank right in here and just let that go for about 1 minute. So our next chemical that we're going to use is something called wash aid. And wash aid, what that does is it removes all remaining fixer. So fascinating how they figure this stuff out. I have some super limited knowledge of old film techniques, but it's so interesting. Oh man, You don't know the half of it. Even the stuff that came before this process. So we're talking wet plates. We're talking daguerreotype, tintype, platinum printing, where they would use mercury vapor and mercury liquid as part of the developing process. Like all that stuff that happened right at the invention of photography in the early 1800s. All right, so we are coming down to the end of the first rinse. So we're just going to take that right off. Pour it right out. All right, next up is the wash aid. Which, again, another clear chemical, but when it's done doing its thing, it's going to look like I poured soap in it. There we go. Like, there's a bubble there blocking the proceedings. There we go. All right. Step 5, wash aid, and away we go. Now this step, it's 2.5 minutes of constant agitation. There is no break. Yes, indeed, Potato Night, mercury vapor. And it's like, people still do it. People still do it. And, like, I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Order of the Good Death. Ask a Mortician. There was one such video where the subject was death photography, and there was a demonstration of the old processes. Now that I actually have the room, something I want to learn how to do is develop color film by hand, which I would have learned how to do, except I had to take a medical withdrawal from college for about 1.5 years, and by the time I got back, that course was no longer being offered. It was the start of the gutting of the fine arts programs at my college, so I never learned how to develop color film by hand. But color film is far more trickier than black and white film. And also, you're talking about noxious chemicals. The fixer for color film is bleach. So now I'm in a place where I can actually have proper ventilation. I like the smell of bleach, though. Well, you see. My old apartment was a bit of a confined space. I did not necessarily want to inhale. Alright, we are done with the wash aid. And as I said, it looks like soap after 2.5 minutes. So then we move into final rinse. Yep, I'm just filling my apartment with mustard gas on the daily. Yes, exactly right. So now we're going to do final rinse, and this is for 5 minutes in an open tank. Mmm, delicious. I love the smell of mustard gas in the morning. Pfft. All right. So while that's doing its thing, so the wash aid, well, the wash aid again reduces the final rinse time from about 15 to 20 minutes down to 5. And then the absolute final chemical that we use is called ilfotol. And if you've watched these streams before, I use the same analogy every time. So you know how if you have a dishwasher, you use jet dry. Jet dry is a rinsing agent. It prevents hard water spots from forming on your glasses and your plates. Ilfotol is the same idea, but for film. Ilfotol, not infotol. ILFOTOL. Because it's made by Ilford. All my film chemicals are made by Ilford Film Company, not in. Although, that's not a bad idea. Ilfotol is basically jet dry for film. It is going to help minimize or altogether eliminate the appearance of hard water spots on film as it's drying. Because there is nothing more frustrating than trying to edit out a water spot or a fingerprint on film. Because after this film is dry, I'm going to scan it, and hopefully next week I'll do another art stream where you'll see me edit what we're developing tonight. So, and nothing sucks more than having a big old water spot or a fingerprint. Just looking at your image in glorious 2400 or 3200 ppi and just seeing a right on. No, that's just, it's game over. Yes, Potato Knight, exactly. That's exactly what ilfotol makes you ill. Although I'm too pasty and white and Jewish to have any sort of mad drip. I'm sorry, I just. So yes, just, we haven't forgotten. It is still rinsing in there. In case you thought I was just giving you lies, slander, and calumny. I'm very basement dweller complexion. Well, you know, now I actually have a basement to dwell in. So while that's going on, I need to get my ilfotol. Where's that one? There you are. And because I'm prone to actually being an idiot, it's like, because all of my chemicals are in these brown glass jars, I actually labeled my ilfotol last step. Because again, 4 out of the 5 chemicals are clear. So then what we're just going to do after this, so I'm just going to, once the film is done, I'm going to take the film, race that film upstairs to where I have my my nice little shower rod hanging over my bathtub so that the film can drip dry. And then we're going to do it all again. Roll number 2. That is a brown jar of moonshine. Oh, yes. Because that's how you develop film, with moonshine. It was a terrible, terrible accent. Hey, thank you for the sub, Potato Knight. Welcome. Welcome. I've already welcomed you. Thank you. Thank you for throwing your dollars at me. I very much appreciate it. All right, final rinse is done. Oh yes, and also please enjoy the emotes. All right. You're done. So now, again, the last step is the Ilfotol, which we only pour just enough in here to cover the film. So, bloop, bloop, bloop. Ilfotol. Always have to check. Just enough to cover the film. And we do that for 1 minute. All right. Yes, we have to remind my bot. Yes, we're hydrating, but don't drink the chemicals. And Ethan, if you are in there, I'm going to be making a beeline through your room in just a moment. So, putting gloves on because we are now actually about to handle the film. The film is just about to be done. Drying marks are basically the water spots. Just a fancy name for it. All right. We're going to dump this out. And now we are done. We are done with roll number 1. So now comes the fun part. We get to see what we got. Of course you did, Parker. Haha. Cheers. For my medium format film, I use a Pentax 645. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a few minutes. All right, so now we're going to take you out. And here we are. Let's see what we got. Oh, don't you look lovely? Beautiful. Oh, I'm excited. All right. I'm going to take this film and run upstairs, and we'll take a few minutes, so I will be right back. All right. Back we go. So we have finished the first roll, and I have one more roll to develop tonight. So we're going to go all the way back to the beginning. Well, almost all the way back to the beginning. Yes, if they were all black boxes, Potato Night, that would have meant that the entire roll of film would have been all white. Just bright white rectangles. Okay. So, we have to now we have to prepare the chemicals for roll number 2. Oh, no problem. I haven't started the second roll yet. Oh, I said I was going to show you the camera that I use. Hold on. So this is the big ugly side of beef that I use for my medium format photography. This is a Pentax 645N, and with this lens on and off of my neck, it weighs about 5.5 pounds. After lugging this around for an hour or so, I start to feel like Frodo with the ring as he gets closer to Mount Doom. But yep, that is my darling. All right. We have a second roll of film to develop, so I need to prepare all the chemicals all over again. So, I'm going to be making about 20 ounces worth of each one. Or preparing 20 ounces worth of each one again. So, let's get our developer. Now, developer, I always develop 1-to-1, so 1 part developer to 1 part water. So we're going to put 10 ounces in here. And then 10 ounces of water. And normally I have a Brita pitcher that I use for this, but I have not yet unearthed it, so jug o' distilled water it is. Are you 10? Yeah, you're 10. Stop bath. And I know you're going to be under temperature, so we're going to have to fill that basin with hot water again. Stop bath. All right, there's 20. And our dear friend, the Fixer. I do not mind being called dude. You do not need to apologize for that. have been called far worse. Alright, 20 ounces. Very good. Yeah, 63 degrees, so we're gonna have to beef you up a bit. So let's break out the basin again and shove the water temperature all the way up. I'll have to readjust for So this second roll of film that we're going to develop, I'm not going to be doing the, I'm not going to be putting it in the changing bag or anything, because I already prepared for that before we went on the air. Haha! It's already in here, ready to go. I feel so disrespectful calling anyone dude because it's not like the 1990s anymore and Clerks isn't in theaters anymore and the guys from Wayne's World are 50. Yep, well, I guess it's time. Guess I'll die then. You know, let's get the Geritol. Alright. Put you all in here, get you up to temperature, because right now you are at 63 degrees. And I need you to be at around 68. Just put you all in warm water. Give you a couple minutes. Doing this gets you really warmed up. And I gotta grab some more water because I know Parker's lurking back there waiting to spring another hydrate on me. Oh, great. It's gonna Parker's gonna start establishing a cult here. Cheers, guys. Nope. Shit. That was fast. Oh no, we're at 66. Whew. I'm like, that was way quicker than I thought. No, we're only at 66. Still, it's gone up 3 degrees in the last minute, so. Yes, join the watering. What am I, a plant? Oh, what's the bacon frying noise? No, that's the water running. There is no bacon frying, unfortunately. Although I could do that. There's a griddle right here. I could do that. No, that sound you hear in the background, Potato Night, that's the water running. Didn't think my headset mic was that sensitive, but I guess it is. Alright, developer's done. Developer is done cooking. Get the fixer out of there. And the stop bath. All right. You thought the sink running was bacon frying. I mean, that'll happen. All right. So my developer temperature is at 70 degrees, which means I need to slightly modify the development time to accommodate for that. So if it's normally 14 minutes for this film at 70 degrees, we just take a minute off. All right, so 13 instead of 14. That's fine. Wonder what that delicious sizzle noise is. Oh, just film being washed. Mmm, delicious. Tasty, tasty celluloid. Alright. Alright, so because the developer is at 70 degrees, we're gonna let a minute run off the timer. Alright. So we're just gonna put you off to the side there. You are Fixer. Yep, you're Fixer. Alright, so once that gets down to 13 minutes, that's when we're going to start the clock. Well, we're going to start the process here. A little bit of dust in here. That's not going to matter too much. Alright. Alright, here we go. Please begin. Agitation, constant agitation for 30 seconds. I mean, it doesn't help that I'm developing film in my kitchen, Potato Night. So, I mean, I can't really fault you for the association. Yes, we are tenderizing the film. That's what the agitation does. Yes. Yes, good. And then agitation for 10 seconds at the top of every minute. You know, Ethan was just telling me before I started streaming tonight that I should have had the theme song to Julia Child's The French Chef playing while the starting soon screen was up, complete with the ad tags. Like, oh, this program has been brought to you with a grant from S&H Green Stamps. Also with a grant from the Polaroid Corporation. And you just have the theme music. You know. I'm not tall enough, though. It's just we couldn't cut to me live, and it was, oh, this is Julia Child. You know, we couldn't do that. Well, I'm very glad that you're enjoying this potato night. I'm glad that the process fascinates you, and thanks to every one of you who's watching out there tonight, just watching the process, everything being calm and chill, or as calm and chill as I tend to be at any rate, which is to say not. All right, let's get our rinse water back up to temperature here. So in case you'd like to see the art that I get up to, all you have to do is type in exclamation point art, and it takes you, there's a link pops up to my card page, which has all the links, website, Instagram, Vero, Patreon, all of that. Cook up a 7-layer photo cake. Is everything cake? Yep. I'm just gonna, whoop, no, it's, and I'm cake. No, it's, oop, too much. We're at 75. Gotta come down. But yes, welcome to my kitchen. This is where I cook film. Actually, normally I do this in a. Normally, if I'm not doing this on a stream, I'm doing it in one of the upstairs bathrooms. So, where I just talk to myself. So, tentatively speaking, as far as streaming goes, so tomorrow I am planning on doing my usual Friday night video game stream. I'm currently in the middle of I'm doing a 25th anniversary playthrough of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, and I'm playing that on an actual N64. So that I'm hoping to do that tomorrow, starting at around 7:30. And then next week, I haven't decided when yet. It'll be as the schedule allows. I'm hoping to edit what is being developed tonight. With the process I'm doing right now, does the light doesn't affect the film at all? No, this tank is light tight, so no light is getting into this tank. Once the fixer does its thing, that's when it becomes safe to take the lid off completely and expose it to the light. But yeah, this tank is light tight. Yeah, go right ahead, Potato Knight. Yep, and now we're too cold. What is this link that you're dropping? I said N64. All right. Yes. Yes, the very same. I figured if I was going to do a 25th anniversary playthrough of such a classic game, I needed to do it on the original console. I mean, I am in my late 30s, so that is a possibility. The game that I did before Ocarina of Time was the PlayStation 1 Metal Gear Solid. Which also turned 25 years old this year. All right, got 5 minutes to go on this first step. Awesome. Rinse temperature is exactly 68. I mean, Mario Kart 64 is my favorite of the Mario Kart games. Although Mario Kart 8 is slowly climbing up the ranks, but if I had to pick my two favorite Mario Karts, it'd be Mario Kart 64 and the original for Super Nintendo. So I'll also be sharing next week when I start editing some of this. So I'm starting to show my husband how to shoot film, and so he shot his very first roll of 35mm black and white film, and I'll be sharing some of that because I would like to show off his work. Baby's first roll. I had an Atari for a brief period as well. In the late 90s, my aunt had gifted me her Atari, and it came with a disk drive, like the 5.5-inch or 5.25-inch floppy disk drive. And it had Pac-Man and Space Invaders and all the bunch of games that were on those big floppy big floppy disks. Like, I know I have a lot of games on emulators now, but because most of those old consoles I don't have anymore. But I still play them. Alright, rinse water is still exactly 68. Remember, stop bath is next. That's this, the only liquid with color. But no, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what we get. It always feels like Christmas. It's like, ooh, what did I get? Did I get images or did I ruin the whole roll? Which has happened. Sus lemonade. No, I always make the joke that it looks like a very, very dehydrated person's urine. But, you know, if you want to call it lemonade, go right ahead. All right, final minute. Final minute of the first step. Red Bull will do that. All right. Now to pour this down the drain and get our stop bath in. This part is an untimed step because you only need, again, just a minimum of 15 seconds. So I just do 15 inversions. So a little agitation as a treat. 2. A 3. 4. A 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, that's what Fixer does. Stop bath does exactly what it says. It stops the developing. So any residual developer that is still clinging to the film, that gets nullified. Fixer is what's going to permanently... Exactly, Potato Knight. That is exactly right. So we just did the stop bath, and now we're going to move into Fixer. Yes! Now we pour the stop bath out. And now we get our Fixer in. What's my Fixer temperature? 68. Nice. Alright. Yep, that's Fixer. And Fixer, we treat like developer. Constant agitation for the first 30 seconds, and then agitation for 10 seconds at the top of each minute. And once again, what this does is it removes any undeveloped silver that is still left on the film, and in doing so, makes the film okay to be taken out into light without damage. Oh, is that the end of the album? Oh no, we still have... We're still going, okay. So, yes, so that's what Fixer does. fixes the image in place. Once this is done, I could open the tank completely and it would be fine. Nope, not at all. So, all the chemicals can be made, with except one. All the chemicals except developer can be mixed and prepared from their concentrate right before you start developing. The only one that you cannot do immediately before developing is the developer itself. The Ilford developer comes in a powder, and it has to be dissolved in water that is a temperature of at least 104 degrees Fahrenheit, or 40 degrees Celsius if you do not use American Freedom Units. But no, there is no reaction, there is no heating up of any chemicals. So the other chemicals come in a liquid form, and I have to mix that to a ratio. So the developer, it's just the powder. You dissolve it in 104 degree water. That has to cool back down to room temperature before you can use it. Stop bath gets mixed at a ratio of 1 part chemical to 19 parts water. So typically I will do 1 ounce of stop bath to 19 ounces of water. Fixer and wash aid are 1 to 4. 1 part chemical to 4 parts water. And the Ilfotol is 1 part chemical to 200 parts water. So when I make that, when I make the Ilfotol, I put 5 milliliters for every liter of water. No U.S. Freedom Units! You can't use hamburgers to balding over... I know, so sad. Alright, we are just about done on the fixer. So we're just gonna get rid of you, and we're gonna go for first rinse, which is 1 minute. And this is why I work in science. We use sensible metric units. Ah, yes. Everything is base 10, and that's that. Nasty freedom units. Alright, next chemical is, once again, the wash aid. That's the stuff that will look like soap when we're done after the 2.5 minutes of constant agitation. Excuse me. We're getting into October, Winged. Is it going to is it about to be Mad Umbrella Scientist cosplay season again? All right. First rinse done. And now we're going to pour the wash aid. Oh, I should probably change my steps. For those of you who are following along here. Wash aid. Okay. Ah, damn it. I knew that was going to happen. Whatever. All right. All right. Two and a half minutes, constant. Yes, I saw that. I still have to play the Resident Evil remakes, and I mean 2, 3, and 4. I have them. I own them. I was kind of hoping, and it's not going to happen, because I just don't have the time for it. It's like, I wanted to be able to stream those as well. Eventually I will, but like, I'm no longer streaming 3 times a week anymore. Hell, I'm lucky if I can stream once a week at this point. Although I do have a shoot coming up in November. I'm the event photographer for a LARP the first weekend of November. So that's going to be great. I am really looking forward to that. I have never done a LARP before. So that's going to be fun. Yeah, there's that stupid. Like, I can do like 99% of my job from home, just as I could in the office. But, you know, somebody hates the idea of telecommuting. Although even if I was telecommuting every single day. Hold on. We have hit the end of the wash aid, so now we're ready for final rinse. Yep, I knew that was going to happen. So there we are. Again, nice and frothy. Now we just pop the lid off, and we can develop it. We can do the final rinse. So this is the LARP that this is a LARP that my friend McKenna has created. Now McKenna is somebody who I have done a lot of cosplay images with. She and her husband have created a LARP using the Vampire the Masquerade setting, and this LARP is set during the Gilded Age of Hollywood. So think like 30s, 40s. All right. So there we are. Final rinse. That's doing its thing. Nice. I hope you enjoy yourself. There was a concert I wanted to go to coming up, but I realize it's gonna. I need to save my cash. Video Games Live is coming to Albany, so it's gonna be at the Palace Theater the day it's Columbus Day weekend. So I wanted to go, but I'm like, no, you know what? I need to save that cash. So. There's that. But the weekend, while you're, so the weekend you're doing that horror convention, Winged, I am actually going down to Maryland for the Maryland Renaissance Fair. So let me do a thing here. So I'm going to do a slight bit of a shameless plug here, just a tiny bit of shameless self promotion while that's doing its final rinse. Not just for me, but also for the artist who did this design. So some of you may follow her on Twitch already. She goes by the name of Tiny Dragon on Fire, and she was the one who did this constant agitation design that I'm wearing. And also, with her permission, I have put this design on my Redbubble store, so you can get this as a T-shirt like I'm wearing. You can get it as stickers, postcards, pins, whatever. So, if you are interested in buying some constant agitation merch, so the link is now in the chat. That takes you to that's the sticker, but if you scroll down, you can see it on a whole bunch of other products. But yes, it was Tiny Dragon on Fire who did this design, and gave me permission to use it on my Redbubble store. Look, I follow a lot of artists on Twitch, and we all need to make a little scratch somehow. All right, we are coming down to the end here. Gonna get ready for that Ilfotol, the last step in this wonderful, wonderful process. All right, let's get you off here. All right. So there we are. I mean, the film is out in the open. And now let's do the Ilfotol. Yep, that's the right bottle. Just for a minute. Actually, We can turn off this bacon sizzling now. I'll use that to rinse a little later. Sometimes you do, yeah. Now, fortunately, the chemicals in black and white chemistry are not toxic. So, I mean, you've been seeing me use bare hands throughout this entire process. For some people, the chemicals can be a mild skin irritant, but I've been developing film for 20 years, and I have not had that problem. So, it does reek, so, you know, there's quite a bit of hand washing to get the smell out. All right, El Fotal is done. So now we get the moment of truth. And I always quote the immortal Gomez Adams. Spirits above me, give me a sign. Shall I be joyous, or shall I be damned? Well, those are sure some images. There we are. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. As I did just a short while ago, I am going to run this upstairs so that it can start drying, and then I will be back to close it all out. So, back in a few. All right. Just turn off all these timers here. There we are. So that's developing film. So I've developed the roles that I wanted to develop tonight, all two of them, and so you got to see the process from beginning to end. How I load the film from the film to the developing tank. You got to see me do it all tonight. So hopefully you enjoyed. I mean, this is what I do. I do this. I mean, I shoot a bunch of digital as well, but film has always been my first love, and I will continue to do so as long as film and chemicals still exist. So thank you so much for spending some of your Thursday evening with me. I know it's getting kind of late here on the East Coast. It's definitely a work night for me, so I gotta clean all this up and put it away and lug my PC back from over there to over there. So thank you so much again for spending some of your Thursday evening with me. I always enjoy having the pleasure of your company. Hopefully I will see you tonight around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time for The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And next week, possibly Thursday, probably it'll be Thursday or Friday, where I will be doing editing on the stuff that I just did tonight. So, all right, that's it for me. So, until I see you guys again, stay healthy, stay safe, go get your COVID boosters. COVID is still out there. It's a thing. Be safe out there. All right. Until next time, everyone, good night, and joy be with you all. Be well.